Hello everybody, great to see you. Good to see you in particular. My name is Nigel Saint James, and now we're going to talk about clairvoyance, or about being psychic. Well, the first question is this, is that what is clairvoyance? Well, very simply, it's a spiritual gift which has been bestowed by the Divinity. The gift of clairvoyance or psychic ability is one which enables the clairvoyant to know about the past, the present, and the future with respect to somebody. What the clairvoyant does is the clairvoyant says, I now have an apprehension, I have an understanding, I somehow know something about energy fields and energy fields that interact with each other, both in this plane and in other dimensions. Well, what does it mean to be clairvoyant? In a nutshell, you know things that cause and effect would otherwise say it is impossible for you to know. You are able to interpret information without reference to space and time. It's just something that you can do. Now, the other question that people ask me is that, well, which can be summed up by asking the question of, is your gift always on? For example, if you're walking through a shopping mall, do you get to know things about people? Or if I'm at a dinner party, do I know about people that are there at the dinner party with me? Well, the short answer is no. No, I don't. For me, there are two things which are necessary. First of all, I need to have the consent, the informed consent of the person to be read in order for the gift to work. Putting ethics aside even, for it to work, I have found for me that the informed consent of the person is necessary. The other thing is that I need to be in the right frame of mind. That is, I can't have been drinking, I can't be just come straight from a disagreement or something like that. I need to be in the frame of mind, contemplative frame of mind that allows the information to come through. The other thing I'll say is this, is that fortunately, as far as I'm concerned, I forget everything at the end of a consultation with somebody. I forget everything about them. I often forget that they've had a consultation with me. I remember people's auras, and I remember the face of the person, but I'll forget anything that we have spoken about. The other thing is this, is that, now you know how I mentioned that this is something that you need to be born with? So the question arises, can someone just decide to be clairvoyant? I mean, there are people, for example, who'll say that I've always had an interest in the particular subject. I've read lots of books in the subject. I've always been fascinated by the subject, and therefore I think I can do it. Well, I can tell you that an intellectual interest alone is not sufficient to be clairvoyant, to know. Now, I will say this though. On YouTube, we see many people who provide tarot card readings. We also see astrologers, incidentally, providing horoscope forecasts. Both tarot cards and horoscopes, for me, are different to clairvoyance. There are some exceptionally gifted tarot card readers and some exceptionally gifted astrologers that are on YouTube. I won't mention them. You probably got your own favorites. In fact, I even provide monthly tarot card readings myself. You can go to the playlist on my channel and find that out if you're so inclined. But what I find is that with a very talented tarot card reader, they really are bringing up something which is from within themselves. they're bringing up a wisdom in the context of the particular card, the card of which has, and the tarot is set out to give us a current blueprint, if you like, which is based on the esoteric learnings and discoveries which people have made for at least the last couple of thousand years. And the cards very often have particular meanings attached to them. Now, Clairvoyant can also do tarot card readings and can stick to the, if you like, the tarot. I won't call it a script. It's more of an outline, and that's where the talent, the creative talent of the tarot card reader comes in. But it is not an information that comes from without. For example, it's not hearing something, schizophrenia aside. It's not hearing something. It's not seeing the image of something that the clairvoyant will often do. But tarot, I have also seen, I must say, some very gifted tarot card readers who I think are probably clairvoyant as well, on the basis that it takes one to know one. And it may well be that they have not yet developed that talent which they are born with. I suppose that leads to the next question of, is it a rare thing to be clairvoyant or psychic? Well, in my experience, and I'm not a young man, as you can well see, and having travelled all around the globe more times than I care to remember, or can even remember, I think, I think that the appearance of the gift of clairvoyance probably shows up, on average, in about 1 out of every 10 million births. I'll say that again, out of every 10 million births. Now that, of course, does leave a lot of people in a particular country. For example, in the United States, it's easy to have 30, probably 40 genuine clairvoyants, I think. But it is exceedingly rare. It is exceedingly rare. And so it begs the question then as to, why is someone gifted with this? I mean, each of us have our own different gifts, and the gift is provided by the same divinity, the same spirit. Each person's, every one of your gifts or gift is given to you in order that you may do something to make the world and the people in it and around you a better place. Every single person has that special mission while on this plane here. But I think that the gift itself, as far as I look at it, it doesn't make any difference to me in how I carry out my life. I go to restaurants, I have children, things like that. It's just something that I can do. And over the course of the last 40 years that I have been providing clairvoyant readings to people, it is very apparent, to me anyway, and this is not to speak for other people, but for me anyway, it's clear that the gift was provided in order that I might pass on wisdom that doesn't originate in me, but to pass on wisdom to a person, to provide comfort to a person where it is not I who am the comforter, to provide peace to the person where it is not me who is bestowing the peace, and very importantly and simply to pass on God's tenderness to the individual. Now, sometimes people ask the question, is the gift actually demonic? Are there evil spirits involved in this question? Well, let me say this about that. There is nature, nature is far more extensive than we believe it is. Remember, our bodies, our brains, have evolved the way they have done, not to discover truth, but to survive long enough in the landscape in order to breed. And that's it. It's not about truth, how we have evolved. Our senses haven't evolved to develop or to appreciate what is true. What we find, in fact, is that we have, throughout our evolutionary history, developed biologically, and that includes our brain, a number of shortcuts that make it easier for us more quickly to get food, to get water, to get shelter, to mate, to produce, rear children, to protect them, or fight off predators. They're the things that we have evolved for. And so it's not at all surprising, therefore, that we are unaware of aspects of reality that do in fact exist. Now, in my experience, and of course I do this full time, there are centers of consciousness, I would call them, that are unhelpful, if I can put it that way, unhelpful to the individual person. But to say that the process of providing wisdom, comfort, peace, and God's tenderness is the act of one of those unhelpful centers of consciousness is just wrong. I won't say anything more about those at the moment because that's a subject that's deep enough as it is. I guess the other question is that, and it follows on from it, is that are we in fact then dealing with the supernatural? Is it supernatural, what I do? I don't think it is, I just don't. I think that there is the Creator, and I don't think we'll ever understand what God is on this plane. We feel it. We feel the result of God's presence and working in everyday life and within us, but I don't take a religious approach to things. What I do say, though, is that there is and I'll call it the Creator, and there is the created, that is, that which God produced from nothing. That encompasses all sorts of things, all sorts of centers of consciousness, which have a mode of existence which is different to ours. And finally, just by way of maybe what some people, certainly some skeptics have quite rightly asked, is that, well, if you are clairvoyant or psychic, why haven't you won the lottery? Well, I haven't won anything. Well, that's not strictly true. I mean, I did win an argument with my wife once, although I'm not absolutely sure that that is the case, because it may well have been that she was asleep at the time, by that time. But for me, and as far as I know, though, there may well be clairvoyants who have won the lottery, who do foresee something. For me personally, though, as I say, the gift of clairvoyance, psychic ability, healing, wisdom that has been provided to me, it is provided so that I can be of service to other people. It is not to fulfill my own ambition or the ambition of those who are close to me. So I think that gives you a bit of an introduction into what clairvoyance and psychic ability is, from the point of view of someone who has been gifted with it. And I look forward to maybe seeing you on the channel where I do the monthly tarot readings. But until then, remember this, and remember it always, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, it's bye for now.